To update everybody on what we're doing, I mentioned last time that we are going to be totally focused on network marketing. And there are certain characteristics of network marketing. And I believe for quite some period of time, we've gotten away from the principles of network marketing. And the Shackley Company has been built on that principle of network marketing. And when you follow the network marketing principles, then what happens is that people can really develop good businesses. And the focus that we have on these Zooms on Tuesday evening is how you can build 10 directors in the next 12 months. And you say, well, that's pretty far out. Well, when people were really focused on network marketing, it was not uncommon for people to build 20 directors in 1 year. In fact, some people who had a few directors to begin with, if you didn't have at least 30 new directors, you were kind of at a slow pace. New directors. And so I know what can happen when you have that type of focus. And so here's what I'm looking at. Everybody has to decide if they're ready for this. Because it may be a little scary, it may be a little different than what you've been doing. That's okay, that's the way it's supposed to be. But you've got to decide whether you're ready, and I'm not looking for any answers this evening, but if you would contact me and let me know. Because what I feel will help everybody to really grow that wants to be involved in this is that we work this together for those who want to work it together. But to make it really good, and this is where you've got to decide whether you want to be in or not, as we talk about what we're doing and what we've done and so on, I would like the opportunity to give some constructive input, and you can too with some of the other people. Always give compliments, but constructive input, because I could talk to you individually or you could talk to somebody else individually later on, but it wouldn't benefit the whole group. And so this is not to make anybody look bad, but there's something about you hearing what somebody has said and said, oh yeah, I can understand. I wonder how that could be corrected. And so you've got to feel comfortable with constructive input on this Zoom. I just don't know of any other way to make it happen faster, because I'm really serious about the 10 directors, and you've got to decide whether you're ready for the 10 directors, because it's going to be a total change in what you're doing and how you're doing things. It's going to be totally different. 10 directors in the next 12 months. So you can think about it. If you're ready for it, you can text me, you can email me, you can call me if you have questions. But it means that we must have constructive input while we're talking about this. So we can go over somebody's group and help people to understand, here's an opportunity that you got hold of, that's fantastic. Here's an opportunity you missed. Because we all miss opportunities. I miss them every day. Okay, so sometimes other people can see it before we see it ourselves. So please think about it and decide if you're really ready for that. What I'd like to do now is go over the differences, so we're very clear on that. And the first thing in the direct sales network marketing difference is that in direct sales, it's immediate income. In other words, let's look at Tupperware. The whole thing is that you go out there and you do 4 presentations a week, and you know basically what you're supposed to do, and you make an income. Shackley is a future income, for you're going to get paid in the future for work that you did early on. With Tupperware, you've got to keep doing it every week. The other thing is that the goals and the focus are basically to the end of the month in direct sales, maybe 2 months. The goals and the focus in network marketing are for the future. You've really got to be looking into the future. In network marketing, you must be a good cheerleader. You must, in other words, keep everything exciting, and you're excited about everything and everybody's exciting. And that's the focus. In network marketing, you must develop leaders. You got to develop leaders because you can't do it all. You can't get that volume all on your own. The focus is also on small incentives in network and direct sales. And in network marketing, most of the incentives are for the future, the key incentives, such as the trips, cars, and so on. In direct sales, the company primarily runs the business. They put out all the incentives, they put out all the information and so on. They're saying, here's what should be done next. In a true network marketing company, the field is the one that propels the business and the company supports the field. The focus in direct sales is activity, getting people excited about doing activity, getting people excited about doing a lot of presentations. The focus in network marketing, the focus is on the future, then we figure the activity. And that's why many people say, well, what should I be doing? And I keep coming back and say, well, where do you want to go? Well, just tell me what I should be doing. That's direct sales thinking. The company provides all the incentives in direct sales. The field provides most of the small incentives. If you think back, for those who have been in Shackley for a period of time, we had a lot of different incentives, but the field did it. And we were inspired to do it because we knew the timing that was good for the people in our group. Direct sales, make a decision to do activity, network marketing. You let the future goals guide the activity. You follow the script in direct sales. You learn to put strategy into your business. In other words, should I be working with this person or this person? And I thought this person was going to do it, and they changed things and so on. It's constantly readjusting. And many people have problems with that, and that's why they would rather be in direct sales, because this is what you do every time. The plastic is basically the same. The script is basically the same. There's not a lot of variance in terms of necessary strategy. Direct sales, extra income, and in multi-level marketing, you have a career opportunity. That's what it really inspires people. And there is some customer loyalty in direct sales, but there is strong customer loyalty in network marketing. And so if the focus is real quick, get some people in and then get some more people in, get some more people in, and people end up with a clothesline of people in their business, they're probably not getting strong customer loyalty. And minimal relationships minimal relationship building. And there's a significant amount of relationship building in network marketing to make it work. So these are the differences. There are probably many others. In direct sales, the key focus is getting people excited about activity. In network marketing, the key focus is the dream of the future. That guides everything. So that's why I keep asking people, where's your focus? Where you're going to be in a year? Where are you going to be in 2 years? And hopefully that is helpful in showing that to you. What I'd like to do at this point is go over some things that I have been discussing with Michelle Matson about her group and putting in strategy into what she's doing. And I'm going to show that on the screen here in a minute. But I want to congratulate Michelle because this month she's going out as a director with over 3,000 volume.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Over 3,000 volume. And can you answer this, Michelle? Was there times when you thought, Is this going to happen?
Oh, so many times, and so many times very just discouraged or not just, but I stayed persistent and just kept going along with my goals and my passion, and it's paying off now. And so, and I've heard that a lot with a lot of people, that at first it's hard, but then when you get a momentum going and people are excited, it makes me excited. And I think that shows. So the fear goes away a little more when more people are joining you.
Mm-hmm. And like I think I told Michelle, we talked about, because your thinking is now elevated because of what's going on in your business, therefore you're going to attract more people. And that's what people don't understand about network marketing. When you're on a high, people just flock to you. And it gets easier as more and more people come in. And many people think as more and more people come in, it's going to take so much more time. And that's not true. And so these are things that we will be talking about. And what I'd like to do at this point, and please, if you have questions, we can talk about them or ask your questions. But here's what is going on. And Michelle, you can interrupt anytime. But this is Michelle. Michelle has Michelle. And I'm going to be talking about just a part of the group here. And Michelle, the second Michelle here, is in real estate, and she's like your sister-in-law, and she wants to do anything to help you. And that's another key thing. When you talk about your vision of the future, people want to help you. And so she's trying to give you leads, and she gave you this lead. This person's name is Gail. You want to tell about Gail, please?
Well, Michelle she's been overweight for many years. And when it comes to family sometimes doesn't like to listen, even though Rob and I have tried to get her to do the Shaklee. And she's gotten on some of the vitamins and the protein, but she needs extra help. So she went to a nutritionist, and that's Gail. And she told Gail that she should talk to me because she was showing her the protein, and Gail wasn't really that gung-ho about the protein and supplements. And so, but she said she would love to talk to me, and I spoke to her the other day, and now she's so excited about Shaklee because she didn't realize the difference in products and after talking to Roland, what Shaklee can do for her clients. And she has a big clientele of people on Long Island. So she's took 10 catalogs today and is going to go for it. She's very interested in making money.
And so
business.
So her business is what exactly, Gail?
She's a nutritionist, so she helps mainly people lose weight. That's her biggest thing, but people with diabetes she helps, and other issues. So it's not just weight loss.
How many customers?
I don't know, but she has a couple different offices. I don't, that's a question I should ask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. So this is where the strategy comes in, because I think it was yesterday we talked to Gail.
Right.
And she had a lot of questions, wondering why Shaklee is different and so on. And I also realized that Michelle, at the top here on the Zoom, Michelle said that her brother sells supplements, and she didn't like the way he tried to basically force her, and she didn't like the products.
She was afraid to recommend them. She wasn't sure of the safety of the products. And so when she started listening to me the other day, and then on the call with Roland, she was so much more comfortable with what Shackley can offer. So I left her house because I was at her house for the conference call with Roland, and she didn't sign up right then and there. She says, I want to think about it overnight. And I told her to take her time. And within a couple hours, she's like, I want to sign up. And she texted me when I got home. And she ordered almost $300 worth of products to try herself, which she wants to do first and see how she feels on them. But she took 10 catalogs today. So I don't think she's going to wait till she gets her products to even share the Shackley.
And once again, that goes to the dream. I mean, we didn't elaborate on trips or anything else.
No.
But she knew you have a passion for Shackley. She picked that up. She even told you.
She mentioned, she said that at the end. She goes, it's so nice to see how passionate you are. Because she was asking me about all the different products and what did I think, she was asking, should I order this? And I did get excited about it because I'm like, yeah, I love that. And oh yeah, that's another great one. So it excited her. And so she's trying all the lines, really. She got something out of everything. So that's exciting too, that it wasn't just nutrition.
And this is a very strong point that relates to network marketing. The passion, the feeling that you have, which is all about where I'm going, what I'm going to do, which you didn't relate too much, but she could tell that you were really focused. And she also, we didn't say much about the products. I mean, we talked about different products for different things, but we did not get into all the product lines or any of that. But because of the passion and the feeling that you have and the focus is why she bought all these products and she's joining. It's a feeling thing. In network marketing, it's more based on feelings than it is presentations and giving all the information. So
and I did compliment her a lot for helping Michelle, because I in some ways it's a little upsetting that Michelle didn't want to trust Rob and I to use us as helping her to lose weight. She needed an outside person, and I did compliment Gail over and over again for helping Michelle, and very grateful. So, I looked at it that it really was about Michelle and not myself, as like, oh, I can't believe Michelle didn't want to do the Shackley just with me. So it helped to just be concerned about Michelle.
Mm-hmm. So after talking to Gail and understanding the questions she asked and what Michelle had to say, Michelle Matson had to say after she talked with her before we did the three-way, we must decide in network marketing where this person can go in a given amount of time. Many people say, well, what do you want to do? When do you want to become a director? To me, that's not the right answer or the right question, because they don't know that much about Shackley. There are two key things that must be done in network marketing. One is you really got to find out what they're thinking, not what they're saying so much as what they're thinking. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is finding out if they're coachable. Now, because she hasn't really decided to do Shackley, we have not really gotten into the coaching with her, but I believe she will be coachable. The only thing that we said was, yeah, try the product, decide what you want to do. And because there was no pressure, right. She was open to that. And we made certain there was no pressure because she's been pressured by her brother in that experience. That's getting into their head, even though she didn't hardly say anything about her brother to me. Knowing that, understanding where her thinking might be was very, very important. So in talking about this with Michelle Matson, I feel that Gail can become an executive because it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling thing. Because of her determination, she's not afraid to make a good income. She has expressed that. She wants to make it good income. And so we are setting that goal in 6 months. That's the goal. You've got to get the picture in your mind. It's all about the picture. So Michelle Matson must get it in her mind that she's going to be, this person, Gail, is going to be an executive in 6 months. So that way your creative thinking will be trying to figure out, how can we make that happen? How can we make that happen? Well, at the right time, we're going to also let Gail know that she can qualify for the trip to Costa Rica. And once Gail is in, and she's coachable, she's in, but we got to find out whether she's coachable, and asking her how she feels about really growing this thing fast. I'm not going to use titles. She's not ready for that. And then Michelle Matson will go to her sister-in-law, Michelle, and say, can I go over something with you? This group here is really going to grow. Do you want a part of it? You want to talk about it? And Michelle here is saying, I just want to do my real estate, but I'll give you people. I don't know what's going to happen here with this Michelle. I don't know. We want to keep asking questions, but she could give more people to Michelle Matson that could become directors and make certain that Michelle Matson qualifies for Costa Rica, and within a year is going to have a whale of a strong organization, 10 directors. Because if Gail goes to executive, we're talking about at least 6 directors in that group. And Michelle's looking for a total of 10. So this is where you draw it out on paper and figure out a hypothetical situation. Now, this is more strategy. As I said to Michelle Matson, you must look for 2 other people who will become directors where you can build under and so on. 2 other people outside of this Michelle. Because I said, you don't want to be disappointed. And let's say a couple of directors are built here under this Michelle. And in about 6 months from now or 7 months from now, she says, oh, I want to get into business. What happens there? Michelle is no longer a coordinator. She's back to a senior director status. So to prevent that, in case that happens, you must get 2 other people, looking for 2 other people who will become directors or someplace outside of this Michelle right here. I don't know if you have any questions on that or if you understand that or not, but it would really be disappointing, but yet except it would be nice if this person says in about 7 months from now, I want to pick up that business. Now keep in mind, to pick up that business, this Michelle will understand you just don't walk into it and do your volume and you pick up the group. You've got to be doing meetings. You have to be active. You have to be working at this thing. You're just not going to pick up this group at the last minute. So there's going to be forewarning on that to her, so she's not caught by surprise and thinking, well, the last, the 11th month, she can pick up that group and do 2,000 volume, and she could pick up that group and then revert the following month. And then she's got another 12 months. And so she would be very upset if she were told, no, you can't pick it up. So now we're going to let her know early on, you have a chance, but you just can't pick it up the last minute. You must be actively working at Shackley to prove yourself. So the strategy is to safeguard, get a couple of other directors, at least one, because you want to spend time in Gail's group. Because what we presented to Gail was, she was wondering, well, how do I distribute the Shackley if I have it in my business? And we said there are 2 ways, and we went over it 3 times. There are 2 ways. One is you can have a few products on hand and get some products out to people who may want to lose weight or they want better health, they want more energy and so on. And I said, you can make a couple extra $100 a month. But if you rely on Michelle Matson and myself, and if you have somebody who you feel has an interest, then you give them Michelle's phone number. Because they said, here's what can happen. They will sit down with Michelle, and maybe after sitting down with Michelle and looking at the catalog, they're going to say, oh, I didn't know you had skincare. I said to Gail, you don't have time to do skincare right now. You're starting your business. You don't have time to really educate people. That's what we do to help you get started. And let's say, for instance, that person that Michelle Matson sits down with has a relative that's in California. We do a three-way call. That person in California says, hey, this is good, I'm in. And they may even want to start building a business. I said, that way, Gail, if you do that, and it's your choice, it doesn't matter to us. If you do that, then that could mean $2,000, $3,000 extra a month or more. There will come a point when Gail will have to take up the responsibility more of that group. But to get that thing started, rely on us. Or have a few products and make a couple extra $100. Or if you rely on us, you can make $2,000 or $3,000 or more a month. And I mentioned that, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Get that point across. So are there any questions on this of Michelle or any questions of me? But this is so important to have the strategy and thinking what is the best situation based on what you know about Gail, based on what you know about that person, based on what you know about Michelle, who's in the real estate. Would she pick up on it? I don't know yet, but we're going to keep asking questions to find out because we've got to be prepared. But based on Michelle's thinking, wanting to make an income, which she has expressed, the other thing is her level of confidence is incredibly good. Very good. I can tell by her questions. That's the other thing we want to figure out. In direct sales, the whole focus is, Gail, buy products and get my volume up. In network marketing, trying to figure out the level of confidence. You don't try to figure that out very much in direct sales. And I felt she was very confident, very genuine, and so therefore we have set the target, without going into detail, of her becoming an executive in 6 months. Any questions from anybody on that at this point? As I told Michelle Matson, I said, you want to only express what you need to express with people for where they are and what they can understand. You've probably heard me use the example of the little kid in the car saying to the parent, how do you drive the car? And he's only 2 or 3 years of age. And the parent says, well, I just take this wheel and I push my feet down here. But a couple of years later, the same child asks the same question, and the parent explains that there's gasoline that just underneath where you're sitting, and that goes up to the front and it goes into the engine and works. A couple of years later, well, how does this thing really work? Well, there's a pump that pumps the gasoline up there. It goes in the engine. There are pistons. You explain what is necessary and understood at that time. As I've been explaining to Michelle, that we'll find somebody, you'll find somebody. Here's the things that you can continue doing, but you keep the focus on the future. You must work at that, which she did. Even sometimes there was a lot of doubt. I said, now, Michelle, I believe you can start seeing how definitely senior coordinator is there and how executive is there. That's why we're looking for 2 more. So you have 3 first levels and you got a group and you're an executive, senior executive. And I said, fairly soon, once we start working with Gail and producing that business, then we will start talking about key coordinator. But right now, I said to Michelle Matson, I said, it's too premature. Because I don't want to take I want you to focus that things are going to happen that are very good, but I don't want to take your focus off really making certain that Gail has a good, strong, growing business, because your top priority is to get her to executive in 6 months. Michelle, do you have any questions?
No.
I have a question
Yes.
for Michelle. Michelle, what was it that the Michelle under you, what was it that she said to Gail to get her to come to you, to talk with you?
Michelle is pretty outspoken and social, and she told Gail, she's like, you have to talk to my brother's girlfriend. She sells Shackley. I take it. It's fabulous. She's like, she rattled off the things that she loves. And she called me. I actually called Michelle while she was at an appointment, and Michelle answered, and she's like, oh, I'm so glad you called. You need to speak with Gail. And then she put me on the phone with her. So it was just by chance, and that happened at that time. And I was ready, I guess, for the conversation, just from all the things that we all prepare for. And asking questions. I keep telling myself to ask her questions and not to over say things and to tell her too much.
And another thing that you just said, Michelle Matson, is that you called at that perfect time.
Yeah, it was a perfect, it was just.
And many people would say, oh, that was just coincidental. But when you have the reaching, the thinking, you're going to do it, it's going to happen, you find more coincidental things happening.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day I do.
That's a part of network marketing.
Yeah.
Those things fall into place when you have that futuristic thinking, because that's the most important thing, having that vision and letting everything else follow. The other thing that I talked to Michelle Matson about doing is making certain that this Michelle gets some nice products for giving a referral.
We're always giving her
to
products.
get more referrals for you, which makes it so much easier.
Right.
It saves time. Is it worth it to give her a couple of cans of protein or whatever to get a couple more referrals? It sure is. Because you, Michelle Matson, you're the stranger to these people.
Well, I'm new to this area, and I'm new to this area. She is extremely social, and she's putting together a networking women's group for the businesses here so that we could all support each other in business. And she's very outgoing that way, but her focus now is on real estate, and she's doing well. So she just wants to help me and Rob, and she just loves doing that. So, but once she sees where she can go with it, she might gravitate to it, especially if she can get a trip in a car.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't know. But this is where we use strategy to make things easier by giving people who say, oh, I don't want to do the business, but I know of people. Hey, give them free products every time they bring you a referral and that person buys.
Right.
And they'll just give you more. And they find the people for you who are strangers to you, who listen better than the relatives. So we're now getting past the relatives. What a way to do that.
So you all need to find a Michelle.
That's right. That's right.
I'm very fortunate.
So what Michelle and I will be doing is now talking about other people in the group to decide where you can build depth, where you can find 2 more people outside of this Michelle. And the thing you'll be doing, Michelle, you're going to be looking for 5 possibles. And we'll talk about those 5 to try to figure out what their thinking is, maybe some phone calls. And so that way we can zero it down to 2. But we're going to be looking at 5 possible places to build depth. We're going to be asking about the products they're using. Does the husband and wife use Shackley? Do they have children? Have they talked to anybody else about Shackley? Have they commented to you that they really like the product? Have they asked a number of questions about what should I take for this and this? Those will be the questions that I will ask you. And we'll just try to put pluses and minuses in to figure out, okay, if this person right here really loves Shackley, the family's using Shackley, they've talked to other people about Shackley, and they have a heart for helping other people, that might be a good place to start building depth. I don't know, but we're going to look at 5 and zero it down to 2. Because the goal is that not only is Gail a senior executive, you will be a senior executive by the end of the year. And you will have a whale of a strong business. You will be way over the 10. And you'll be well on your way to key because of the structure of your business. And this is the other thing that I haven't gotten into with you yet. But there is the 50% rule. I haven't even explained it to you, I don't think. We haven't talked about it. But what we will be doing is my job to make certain that you're not going to get burnt out with a 50% rule.
What's that?
Okay. The 50% rule is once you make, I believe, senior executive or senior coordinator, if you have a strong business that goes down one leg, you must have at least 50% of the volume coming outside the strong leg. So some people really focus on this one leg, and they only have one other director over here, and they may have, say, 5,000 volume themselves. There's 3,000 here. That's a total of 8. And this person's volume is at the 30,000. They're not going to be able to pick up all the bonuses from this group. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So you've got to be somewhat balanced, enough horizontal as what you have in one strong leg. Many people, when they become directors, they have one strong leg. And it looks like you're developing one strong leg. So to prevent you from getting burnt with the 50% rule, we want to make certain that we expand outside. And this, once again, is what could happen. If Michelle says, okay, we got a couple of other directors here, and I'm going to become a director and pick this all up, you are heavily weighted with this one leg. You will not have enough horizontally over here, and you're not going to get paid all your bonuses on this group right here because this is not 50% of this down here. That's the 50% rule. So this is why, as a leader in this business, you've got to figure out how to prevent that from happening to somebody. And that's why I'm making certain that we're going to be sufficiently horizontal. If you look at the sales plan, you don't get paid the depth until you have enough horizontally. So in other words, as you move up in rank, you get to key coordinator, you get paid another level down because you have another first level. You now have 4 first levels. And so you get paid deeper as you also continue growing horizontally. So we can start that practice early on, and that's what we're doing. And that's why this leadership, the coaching is so vital, because we don't want people saying, oh, I didn't realize, why didn't you tell me before? And so at this point, it's not even necessary to tell you, Michelle. But once we start working it, then I will explain it more to you. And you can check in on it yourself, but there is that 50% rule. And that is you cannot have all your business down one leg. In fact, for those of you who were on the Richard Brook program on the 23rd, there was a gal from New York area by the name of Carol. She's quite outspoken and so on. And Richard talked about how, she talks too much and she doesn't listen, which is so true. I mean, Carol's a sweetheart. Talked to her many times, but she doesn't listen. And so she is listed as maybe a senior director. And she has, I believe, down her line, a master coordinator under her. And because she does not have enough first levels, she's getting paid about $1,000 a month. And if she had enough horizontally, she'd be getting about $8,000 a month. She is losing approximately $85,000 to $90,000 a year because of that. So in order to get paid more depth, you have to have enough first levels. So we try to balance this thing out. And that's why it's important to understand the sales plan and understand that factor. Other questions or comments, or Michelle, do you have anything that you may want to know about at this point?
So what happens if for some reason you do grow on one leg so much faster, just like that lady from New York? Do you have the opportunity then to grow horizontally and then not lose what's below you?
That's a very good question. Yes, she does. There are people in Shackley, I won't mention any names, who have big, huge businesses. And if they had one more director, first level, their income would go up $13,000 a month. And they have never asked for any help in getting another director. And I have offered to help them. But this is the thing, pride can get in the way. And it looks like if I'm asking another master coordinator or somebody to help me, I feel very foolish because at my rank, I should have the answers. But there are many people in that situation. I've talked to another guy who is somewhat inheriting the business, and he understands nothing about the business. And he asked for some help. I said, sure, I'll help you. And it's a situation where developing two more first levels, and that situation, it moved way up in rank, and definitely there would be at least another $10,000 a month coming in. And they don't ask how. Because of pride. It's a pride thing. But there are a lot of people in that situation. Not interesting? Other questions from anybody?
Roland,
Yes, PJ, thank you.
The list that you shared about the difference between direct marketing and network marketing, can you share that with us in an email or something?
Certainly. Mm-hmm.
That was a very good list. That had a lot of food for thought in it.
Yes, it's a great point, PJ, and that is, in looking at that list, it's very important to refer to it and try to figure out, okay, is what I'm doing, does that fit the requirements for network marketing? Because direct sales so much is get in and get a customer and get more customers. In other words, you sponsor in 3 distributors and you get $300, which is money up front, direct sales. and then find 3 more next month. Network marketing says, look, if I found 3 good people, you work with those people. Don't try to look for more. Your job is to work with those people. So the question to be asking every time you look at a situation or something you want to do or an incentive you want to run, is this fitting in with network marketing or is it direct sales? Sharon, I don't know if you have any questions. We've been talking about your organization too, and getting the depth and where to work. And you've got some people that you're talking to that have a nice little business. And I think you found it amazing how they've been working at Shackley for a number of years, and there are so many things they did not understand. Is that not true? You want to unmute yourself and comment, please?
Yeah, I definitely find that for sure. No, this was a good eye opener. So, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michelle. Congrats.
Who else has some comments on this or questions? Because for those of you who really want to get involved in building all these directors, then really must have your input. And that's why I want to find out who really wants to be involved in doing this, because those are the people that I want to be talking to. And anybody is invited to it, but we won't be able to strategize with somebody who's not really thinking to do this, because if they're not interested, then what we talk about is going to be boring to them perhaps, and they won't be interested. So. Chris, what are you thinking? We haven't heard from you for a while.
Just, you know, for me, we've had our Shackley business for, probably like 12, 13 years now. And for a while, just had been going solo on it. Kind of made some moves in my job and in areas of the country. And with that, there was a little disconnect with the Shackley group we are formerly working with. And as I look at my group now and knowing what we did to grow our group when we first started and at times of growth, I knew it was when I was in conversation with others regarding our business. And so I saw the emails coming in that you were meeting. I thought, well, I'm going to jump on. And so I'm just soaking it in and kind of reorienting my thoughts towards versus, I think what was happening for me was I was connecting with people and it was more product driven, but because there was no vision for organizational growth, I wasn't necessarily going there. And I think what happens is when you have vision for organizational growth, like you said, those opportunities pop up. And as Michelle said, you're also ready for them. So I think that unless I work on setting some of those goals out, drawing my group out, consistently looking at it, I won't be ready because the opportunities are all over the place. So, but if you're not thinking like that, you'll just maybe not purposely, but you just won't seize that opportunity to do it. So as we're talking and I'm looking at my own group, I'm looking at previous people I had in the circles that I thought would, that for whatever reason didn't. And now I'm starting to think of, okay, who else goes in those next circles? And then you just, pursue that conversation with them. And if they do, great. And if they don't, then I look for who the next person is. But so it's been good to revisit the conversation.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. And you're talking once again about the vision for the future. Is so powerful in network marketing. It's a must. It is a must. You take it out, it's going to fall back into direct sales and it's not going to move. And I have an incredible, incredible, incredible vision for making a difference for other people and helping people to really grow in Shackley, because I feel there's just a sense of urgency to do that. So many people must have our help health-wise and for the business. And I just have a passion for doing that. I really do. And when you have that passion, we're going to do things that we feel uncomfortable doing. But it's the right thing to do because it fits in with the passion and the goal in the future. And so I have gone to Carolyn Whiteman and I told her about what I was doing. And she said, wow, let me know how it happened, what works, how it's going. Because what would happen if we joined about 5 other master coordinators and did the same thing? Each one has about 5 or 6 people, and we'll do this Zoom together. That is going to be so powerful because sometimes you learn so much from somebody that is not associated with your business or your group. And so when you have an idea and it has to do with the future and the belief and the passion, people want to join. And so she says, please let me know how it goes because I want to join. I think that's good. And we'll get a couple of other masters. We don't want a whole bunch of people. We want a couple of other masters. The other thing is, because I feel so strongly about it, and this is something I do not feel comfortable doing, but it's the right thing to do. And that is, I've gone to the chairperson of the MEC. This is the board that works for the home office and the field. And I said, James, can I go over something with you? And I talked to him a little bit about direct sales and network marketing. And I said, in Shackley right now, we are 90% focused on direct sales. And you cannot go from, as I said on the other Zoom, you cannot go from network marketing to direct sales. You can't do it. You can go from direct sales to network marketing in a company. But if you get this whole thing started with network marketing, you cannot go to direct sales. And we're 90% direct sales. And I said, I would like to present on the next call that we have with all the master coordinators, just master coordinators, no home office, except they may listen in. I'd like 15 minutes and to go over this. And it's so easy for some people taking it as I'm against the company. That's not it at all. But I'm running that through my mind, that could happen. And on the circle calls, we call them circle calls with the master coordinators, nobody's ever taken 15 minutes or 20 minutes to discuss something. The MEC talks about what's going on with the home office, what they're working on, and so on. Nobody's asked for that. And it's going to be a situation where I'll be waking up early in the morning of that day, believe me. It's not comfortable, but it's the right thing to do because so many people in Shackley, I don't care the rank, we have adopted direct sales as the way to do things. Immediately at the end of the month, we must change it. We should have approximately 300 to 400 master coordinators. And basically for the last 20 years, we have the same number. So it's not as a negative, I'm telling you this, but I'm telling you this because why I have such an urgency to make the change. Many people say, well, if we could get the company changing this, if the company would see this, my thing is don't try to change them because they're looking at things from a direction of, boy, we got to get things up to the end of the month. They're looking at sales every month. They're looking at it every day. They're not looking long-term. Network marketing is long-term. So I want the master coordinators, my goal is that the master coordinators will look at this list and we talk about it, they can say, boy, you are absolutely right. And then I'm going to go over the things that we must do as master coordinators to start focusing on network marketing. Do I feel comfortable doing it? No. Is it the right thing to do? Yes. Because if we are to help Shackley to grow ahead and move ahead, it's the field that must do it. But that's what happens when you have a goal, you have a mission, and you have a passion for what you're doing. And I tell you, so many people out there should be using Shackley. I mean, you hear it, I hear it all the time. People are miserably sick. And let's see, anybody on here had Maggie. We did the three-way call with the boy, but somebody else we talked to on a three-way call. I don't know if you're on, but the kid, no. Somebody in Texas called me. That's it. It was a customer, been a customer for about, I don't know, 25, 30 years. And she said, my daughter, of course, she doesn't want to take Shackley, and she's ADD and everything else, and she's got all kinds of sick issues. But now her son, who is 7, he's a diabetic, severe diabetic. All of a sudden, there it is. Number 1 diabetic, onset diabetes. And his pancreas was not working at 7. And she said, what can I say to them? They don't want to listen. And I gave her a couple of questions. One question is, do you think that the medication will help to improve his health? Will make his body healthier? Do you think as a person gets older and they're on medication that they will be taking less medication as they get older? I said, that's the other question to ask. Do you think the medication will have any negative side effects is the other question. And I don't know what they're going to say, but I hear these stories all the time, and I feel so sorry for that 7-year-old who will probably have major surgery by the time he's 30. He's going to be on disability income by the time he's 20. It's a tragedy, folks. I mean, Dr. Shackley had a passion for helping other people, and I don't know, maybe I picked up on it right away, but man, oh man, I hear these stories. And so we must get back to the simplicity of it and asking people, do you want to feel better? Other comments from anybody? Maxie, we've talked a few times, and you're learning a lot.
Yes.
What do you see for your future? Because right now it's very important for you to start looking into your future, because you haven't at this point, and that's okay. But now's the time to do that. But what are you thinking?
So my thinking is definitely geared to creating a career out of this. And it's funny because ever since we started talking about making this into a career, making this into my life's work, I have people coming to me asking, so what's the plan with Shackley? Are you going to do this? Are you going to use your degree to do something and like become a psychologist, or what's the deal with Shackley? And I'm like, no, my goal is to do, or I'm going to be doing Shackley for forever. And they're like, forever? And I'm like, yep, forever. So I have so many people now asking me that question, and I'm so glad that I can confidently say that this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And it's definitely a different place than I used to be in just even a few months ago. So that in itself is a huge shift for me. I know that what you said about direct sales versus network marketing very much hit home for me, just because I feel like I previously approached Shackley in a direct sales way, and I felt like that negatively impacted a lot of my relationships, because I was more looking at, the end of the month. Okay, so they haven't ordered yet, so I have to go to them and be like, hey, do you want to place an order, or something like that, something awful like that. And now I'm thinking, okay, they might not place an order right away, but that is fine, because in the end, I want them to be happy with whatever they do. And it doesn't help me if they place an order to get rid of me, and then they never order again. That doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve anybody. So that for me has been a huge realization, and it's not always easy to keep that in mind, but it's become very, very important to me to think of the other person versus my own needs at the end of the month. And while we were talking, and we were talking about Michelle's amazing downline situation that you have going there. Congratulations, Michelle. It's huge to get director. That's a huge milestone, and it's exciting. I was writing a list myself of people that I'm currently talking to where I'm working on it, and I was just talking to a member of mine yesterday, and she's about to move back to Europe in August. And I should have asked this earlier, but I didn't feel confident and I didn't have a vision then for my future. And now I do. So it makes all of the difference. And I was like, so we've known each other for a long time. And I basically asked her in a very roundabout way if she would like to, well, I was very direct. I said, would you be open to doing an in-home for me? And she's like, yes, actually, in fact, I had a friend ask me about Shackley. So I thought that was really interesting. And so she told me about her friend who had asked her about Shackley, whose child has eczema, and she's been looking for something that could help that. And so she said she has, and while she was talking about that friend, she's like, I actually also have a different friend who might be interested. So that kind of got the ball rolling there. And so she said she'd get back to me within the next few days and tell me what happens when she talks to those two friends, and see if we can get together for tea or something like that and talk about Shackley. So I'm getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable about asking, you know, in homes. I also approached one of my most feared members. Oh my gosh. I was so anxious about asking her about an in-home. We had talked about an in-home before, but oh my, she had never gotten back to me. Life got busy. And so I see her every morning, and the last few mornings I've always been like, am I going to talk to her? And then I was always so grateful when she ran out of our meetings very early on that I'm like, well, I can't talk to her now. And so, but last time I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I have to do this. Roland and I just talked about this. We talked about my goal is to do 6 skincares a month, and I'm going to reach that goal, and I will do it. So I was like, no, I'm going to talk to her. And I was feeling very confident that morning. And so I'm like, no, we are going to do this. And I talked to her, and it worked out great. We set a date. It all went well. I'm excited to do this in home. And I think my thinking has, I've seen so many shifts. Like I also have, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much, but I have this one presentation that I'm about to do in front of 20 business people. And before I would always think about, okay, what health issue can I talk about and how many products can I talk about in that time? And so now my goal more is to talk about how they can have a more productive workplace for their employees, and then talk about Shackley briefly towards the end. But my goal with that presentation isn't just to get everybody there to use Shackley, but also to see if they will be open to having me use that same presentation at their workplace to also talk to their employees about it. So I'm trying to be as strategic as possible with whatever I'm thinking right now. And I hope, it's going to work. There we go. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Does it make more sense now to understand the thinking and how important the thinking is, not only for ourselves, but what other people are thinking? Okay, good. Okay, looking at the calendar, and what I'd like to do for next week, Tuesday, is to, first of all, find out who wants to be in this club, because you people are the only ones in the United States that are setting the precedents for doing what we're doing, or in Canada. Nobody's doing this. You're a test group. I know it's right. I know it'll work. And then as we get moving ahead, we want to bring other people on, and other master coordinators in their groups. In other words, we're starting something that could revolutionize all of Shackley. That's what I believe. That's the focus. And once we do that and enough people get involved, then the company will start getting away from direct sales. But it has to be the field that does it. It has to be the field that makes the change. And when they start seeing the volume and the number of people coming in and everything else, they will start supporting. And that's what the thing that's on the list. The company should be supporting what the field is doing. And that's the goal, and that's what we'll accomplish. So I would like to hear who really wants to be in. And then I may ask somebody with their Zoom, maybe Madorns or somebody, I will go over with them what we're covering, maybe Carolyn Whiteman, and have them helping to support, but I really want contribution from the people who are in about what their questions are, what they're working with, and so on. So that'll be for next week because I will be out of the country. Okay, so we'll let you know. So please keep looking for the website or looking for the ID number for the website for the Zoom, and that'll be for next week, Tuesday. I really, 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 really appreciate all of you guys. I see you as so important, not only for yourselves and what you can do for your families, but what you can do for other people. And that's what's exhilarating to me. And working together to have incredible success. I can see you walking across stage and the question is, so what did you do? And you said, we started focusing on network marketing. That's what made the change. I mean, I can hear it. And that's the thing, as a person who is focusing on the future, you start seeing the end result. You start feeling it. And so I'm feeling and hearing those things. And so my subconscious, working 24 hours a day, says, what can we do to make that happen? So that's pretty convenient. I'm sleeping and the subconscious is working real hard, coming up with solutions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will have another Zoom next week, Tuesday. And please look for the details on that. And I'll let you know. Thank you for being on.
Thank you, Roland.
Congratulations again, Michelle Matson.